Hey guys, we really hope you enjoy this week's episode here.
Yeah, we have new videos every week, so make sure you subscribe if you haven't already.
Yeah.
Alright, we set off tonight out of Bahia Gonzaga. Got a 17-hour journey planned over to Isla Angel de la Guarda. We left about 1 a.m. from Gonzaga area. Wanted to make sure we got in with plenty of light. Hillary's up sleeping in the cockpit. I'm on watch. Spinnaker and main. Spinnaker's starting to luff around a little bit. Light breeze. The swells are just causing it to go a bit nuts. And we've got a bit of company out here. I'm guessing it's a sea lion. We tend to have them follow us a lot. But he keeps popping up. You can hear him snorting and breathing. So pretty easy night, and we'll talk to you later.
We are expecting a nice, light, downwind sail to Puerto Refugio. However, like is often the case in this area, the conditions weren't quite as forecasted. Early that morning, the wind swung around in front of us, and we sailed along close-hauled. By mid-morning, we decided to put a reef in the main to reduce sail area, as the wind was still in front of us and had picked up considerably in spite of the light winds that were forecasted.
What a crazy day we are having with the weather. It's gone from, if I can get up here, we've gone from no real wind at all. We had the spinnaker up for light winds and just up and down, to now where we're out here in this channel between Isla Angel
And Hell de la Guarda.
and Hell de la Guarda, yeah.
And the Baja. And the forecast that we had was early morning, like 10 knots of wind.
Mm-hmm.
By this time of day, it was supposed to be down to like 6 knots of wind out of like the southwest.
We had downloaded a grid file last night, and that was the most accurate we had. So I think this might just be funneling right up the channel between the island and the main Baja there.
Yeah,
That's our theory.
we have about 20 knots out of like the southeast.
Yeah, we're getting some gusts in around the 25, so we decided to put a reef in the main. We also got the staysail out now. It slowed us down a little bit. We're still heeled pretty good. But we haven't seen waves like this since we first came into the Sea of Cortez when we rounded into Los Frailes.
Yeah.
Very short space waves.
Super short, super steep, big waves, yeah.
Yeah, we probably got some good 5-6 foot waves in here, some swells.
About 3 seconds apart.
Yeah, probably 3 seconds apart. Very steep and very short.
With the wind, the swells, and the strong current all against us, we were barely making any ground. So we turned on the engine and tried motor sailing for a bit until the tide turned. However, this quickly backfired on us.
Alright, Hillary, you've got the bilge open up there. What do you got?
Open up the bilge, getting out our fuel filters.
Because the engine died on us.
The engine died. Yeah, and now we just finally got a little bit of shelter behind the island here. It's still like 15 knots or so, but
back to 18 now, but the swells have gone down, which is good.
Yeah, the swells have really died down, flattened out, so you're going to take a look at this and see, hopefully that's the problem.
I'm going to try and change our rate core fuel filter when the engine died before. Hillary had the thought that that's what it could be. Very good chance, could have been some dirty fuel and been shaken up like crazy today in these steep waves. We changed it not long ago actually in La Paz, but depending on the fuel quality, we've been filling all from jerry cans. We know one of our jerry cans was a bit dirty from the sun with some growth in it. So from what I can see on top, it looks like it might be dirty, but I need to get down closer. Wind's down to about 13 knots now. The swells have gone away. We're going to try and do this while we're sailing before we get to the anchorage, because we do need to motor into this one ideally. It's a tight one. We're going to climb down in the locker here. I've got to pull this shelf out and try and change it. Fingers crossed that's it. Nice and simple. So I don't know how you tell if these fuel filters are dirty or not. That's what we took out. I mean, it's definitely dirty. Doesn't look like crazy dirty, like it'd be enough to stop, but it is a 2 micron actually, so it will stop the fuel flow a lot sooner than a larger micron filter. That way we don't have to worry about less chance of just getting anything in the engine. We didn't think we were going to get this fixed. Eventually it turned out just the lift pump. I said to pump it for a really long time. It took a long time to pump that fuel through. Hillary cranked it a couple of times. Finally we got some fuel coming out of the lift pump area by the fuel filter on the engine, and then we bled it through the fuel injector pump as well. Started and now it's running. So
Woohoo.
Yep, it was hot and sweaty in there, but it was good. We had wind, so Hillary kept us sailing.
Barely. The wind
barely.
Totally died and switched direction.
But now we've got the engine, we're going to head into this anchorage and chill out for a couple of days and put the boat back together.
After our challenging sail, Puerto Refugio certainly did look like a beautiful place of refuge to arrive into.
On this area, this is where you notice some really drastic tidal ranges. So factoring that into what tides we're coming in on when we're anchoring is a big deal on what our scope's going to be and what our depth is. Where tide's still going out right now, and all the way up here, this is the high tide right about here. So we're just on a new moon, so we've just had some of the bigger tides. We're probably around only 10 to 12 feet in this area. It was much bigger a little bit further north, 15 to 20 plus feet. Still something to watch for, because we'll definitely drop 10 feet from where we've anchored at a high tide, so pay attention to that. A really nice temperature right now. It's probably like 6:30, maybe 7. But the temperature's definitely dropped in the last week or so, especially since we left San Felipe.
Yeah.
And now what are we? End of October? End of September.
End of September, yeah.
So it feels kind of nice right now. It's the end of the chubasco season, so the end of the thunderstorm season coming up here in like another few days or a week.
Yep.
Basically the end of summer. Gorgeous here though. Beautiful island, very mountainous.
Yeah.
Quite a large island, right?
Yeah, it's the second largest island after Isla Tiburon, which is just over that way a ways.
Quite green.
Yeah, a lot of greenery. Probably the biggest one I've seen yet. all over the beach here. This beach faces to the north, and about 30-40 miles that way is Isla Pomo, where we just were the other day, the pumice island. And these are pieces of pumice that broke off and floated away in the water because it actually floats. Even though it's a rock, it's so airy in there, it floats in the currents and got washed up on the beach down here.
Hillary was complaining the other day, I was throwing these at her, littler ones, but she's like, it's still a rock.
It is a rock.
Oh, true. They were really tiny ones.
You want me to throw some at you?
Well, I wasn't pegging them at you.
See, test their floating abilities here. Looks funky. I don't know what they look like. Floating rocks. Magical floating rocks. They almost look like, I don't know, a piece of wood or a stick or even like a little like sea lion turtle head. They don't look like rocks, that's for sure, because rocks normally don't float. The north end of Angel de la Guarda is an incredibly beautiful place. With so many rocky points, different inlets, and small islands and islets, it would be easy to spend weeks exploring this place. We had heard that there was great diving here, and we are excited to put our new dive compressor to use. After topping up our tanks, we loaded them in our Juna and headed out. There was a large rock in the center of the bay that we wanted to check out underwater. The visibility turned out not to be so great, but the scenery was still fantastic. Here, there were brightly colored fish and beautiful bonsai-like gorgonians. After our underwater exploring, we headed ashore to get a better look at the rugged mountains, sweeping hillsides, and the arroyos cutting through them. They were all freshly green due to the recent rains from Tropical Storm Lydia. I'm trying to tell which end is his head. Oh, here's his head. That's the spikes on his tail. Probably one of the greenest islands or places in general that we've seen in a really long time. It's quite beautiful up there. Made a discovery. Look at this thing. It's a lizard, some kind of big lizard leg.
Put down the dead things.
I like dead things. On our walk up the arroyo, we encountered hundreds of old pelican nests just sitting right on the ground. And up on the hillside, the ground was crawling with giant, colorful caterpillars munching away. We're not sure if it was the recent rains that brought them out, or if it was just their time of year, but there were certainly a lot of them.
What a really nice day today.
Still not too hot. I think it might be the start of fall, cooling down.
We went out to Pedro Blanca.
Pierre Blanca.
Pierre Blanca, and did our first solo dive with just the two of us.
Just the two of us, yeah. And we managed to not get lost.
We did.
And had a really good time.
The 51 feet, I think, was our biggest depth. About 48 minutes down there. Went around the island, found our way back. It's pretty cool.
And we filled our own tanks this morning, and now we'll refill them tonight. The compressor.
Beautiful evening now. It's cooled down. We're expecting the wind to shift around out of the north. So we'll pack up the boat tonight, put Arjuna on top, and we'll head out early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, head south to the south end of the island.
Yep. It's been very nice here though.
Very nice. Beautiful.
That's all for this time, guys. Thanks a lot for watching.
Yeah, thanks to all of you guys who follow along, and remember to share it with your friends if you enjoy.
Until next time.
Adios.
Cheers. We've got a 17-hour journey over to Isla Angel. Going to Isla